This could be the candid camera outtake.
Okay.
You tell it.
Welcome once again to our Conservation Trust, Harwich Conservation Trust program. And as usual, we have Michael Lach, the director, and Ryan Mann, the outreach coordinator. And we expect, based on what I read here, that we're going to have a very interesting discussion today. And Ryan, we're going to let you lead off today. That was a unanimous decision.
It's a very dangerous decision, actually.
We're going to talk about interns.
That was a democratic decision, is that
was
correct?
a democratic
Well, that's
decision.
great.
Election day.
Election results are in. We are very fortunate. We were very fortunate in the last few years to have several volunteer interns come by means of being local residents or summer residents here in Harwich. And Emily Kemp and some other great local faces were able to give us a hand over the years to help reach stewardship and office goals over the last few years. And so this year we are trying to expand that program to reach out to not only local students who might have homes here, but maybe students from away. And so we have 3 well-developed internships available this summer. And they range from stewardship internships, meaning that they're going to help us maintain trail systems and open space, to nonprofit management and public relations internships to learn the ins and outs of how a small land trust might operate and does operate. So we're looking forward to having lots of applications coming in very shortly, Paul. And at this point, the application is on our website, harwichconservationtrust.org. It's also available at several institutions of higher learning. And if you are a student out there in TV land who is looking for a summer internship, we're looking forward to having you apply for those. We will provide housing this summer, so that's a pretty cool thing, considering how high the cost of living and getting a place would be for someone on the Cape right now.
That sounds great, particularly for younger people who are interested in a career in environmental studies.
Right.
So, and this is part of the Harwich Conservation Trust budget. This is increased expense.
Well, yeah, it is. We're going to be housing the interns, which is the expense that we're going to be incurring. It's also, there's a lot of training that goes involved with having interns, and we're very much looking forward to having those interns, being able to train them, being able to house them, and also for those interns to be able to serve HCT.
Now, do I recall that if they enter these programs, they get school credit for some of these?
That depends on their school institution, and they would have to work that out with their institution. I do know that several schools will work with their students to have credits towards a practical experience, but and we have worked through several of those programs, including most recently Christine Harris, who just finished up her graduate internship, her practical internship, just a few weeks ago. And so we do have some experience with that as well.
Very good. And they get minimum wage, or
These are volunteer
volunteers.
Yep,
Yeah.
these are volunteer
Volunteers.
internships. But you know, the other part that we've tried to do here is make it so that interns have enough free time that they would, if they wanted to, get a job in the evening or on weekends or on off times, there is enough flexibility in the schedule to allow for that. So if people need to make money, we totally understand that. You know, it's the world we live in. I personally would encourage, folks out there in TV land, if you have the ability to be a little poorer when you're, in your early 20s, the experience that you can get through working in an internship is really, really valuable. I know Michael and I were just talking the other day about both of us, struggled to make ends meet, but the experiences that we learned about for where we are now, as well as who we are as people, really came from those internships. So it's a valuable skill.
Very good. Good description. Thank you. And we're going to go to the talks.
Yeah.
Coming up next.
We've had a number of winter talks already. Very popular series, as everybody knows, held right here in the community center. Record turnouts.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it was the lead-off talk with Peter Trull identifying winter ducks, or Nature's Migrations by naturalist and eco-travel leader David Clapp. And then most recently we had a great talk given by Andrea Hawks. You want to talk a little bit
Sure.
about that?
Just real briefly, Andrea is a personal friend, but she's also a postdoctoral investigator over at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute. And she looks at very, very small creatures that live in the ocean that during storm events wash up on our shores and shores all over the world. And she is able to look into the sediment cores and actually see records of storms hundreds, if in some cases even thousands of years in the past, to kind of see trends over time for big storm events and tsunamis. So it was a very, very interesting discussion, very, very lively presentation. And I believe you're going to have that presentation on Channel 18 sometime soon. So if you see it, Andrea is an incredibly gifted and talented researcher, and I think her topic is incredibly captivating. So see that.
Yeah, and
particularly at the Cape, and
Yes.
we follow hurricanes not only particularly for their damage and their excitement, but also for what they do to our insurance.
Yeah,
Wow,
that was brought up in the question and answer session.
It was.
And it was a fascinating talk. She did a great job of explaining the science, and how it has real practical applications to, not only studying the history but understanding possible trends in the future. It was really neat. We have more talks coming up. February 4th, honeybees, honeybee habits and challenges. We have volunteer beekeeper Kevin Minigorode of the Barnstable County Beekeepers Association.
There's a couple of people in town that I'm familiar with that have bees. One guy works at the post office.
Yeah, Jim.
You know Jim?
Yes. So Kevin is going to talk about his experiences beekeeping. Specifically, he's also going to talk about the 3 experimental hives we've had at the Bank Street Bogs Nature Preserve in Harwich Port on HCT property there. And he's also going to talk about the history of beekeeping and some bee biology. It'll be neat. So February 4th. Then we have February 11th, the art of recognizing animal track and sign, led by Todd Kelly. He's a I think it's a 13th or 14th generation Cape Codder. So he's got some deep, some native Cape Cod roots. He's also an interpreter for the state's park system, specifically Nickerson State Park in Brewster. So he's got a wealth of knowledge, and he's going to share it with us on February 11th.
Every time I see Todd, I always learn something.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
It's fascinating.
Really, really amazing.
Well, 14 generations. If he's picked up history from each generation, he's way ahead of anyone else.
Yeah. So he's going to be sharing his knowledge and insights about mammal tracks in particular and sign left behind by fox, coyote, otter, raccoon, skunk, possum, and others. And then on February 25th, we're going to have David Wiley from the Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary, and he's going to talk about his efforts to bring together an international coalition to actually change the shipping lanes north of Cape Cod to avoid ship strikes with whales, in particular the North Atlantic right whale, which is the most endangered whale in the world, and happens to congregate right off the Cape. So that's going to be a fascinating talk. But all of this is on harwichconservationtrust.org, our website.
If we could just revisit the bees,
wasn't
that a serious problem very recently when they weren't generating hives? I don't know what I'm talking about, but other than recalling
it continues.
some discussion that their contribution to the
Pollination. Yeah, critical pollinator.
was interrupted
And
seriously.
continues to be interrupted. They're suffering from this phenomenon called colony collapse disorder.
Okay.
The whole hive collapses. There are a number of theories, whether it's fungus or mites or some combination. Global climate change may be playing a factor in sort of the skewing of natural processes during the particular spring-summer season.
So this, when this gentleman comes to talk, hopefully he'll have some further information on how that's
hopefully, yeah.
cured.
He's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff for sure.
He does.
That's great.
It's gonna be a real buzz. Sorry.
Very good. One for Ryan.
Yeah. We'll keep going.
Not only talks, but you're going to have walks.
That's true.
We are. We're going to have walks coming up too, one of which is going to be led by Todd Kelly again on February 18th, Saturday at 10 a.m. And he is going to lead a walk focusing on finding animal tracks and signs in the Island Pond Conservation Lands. So people can meet 10 a.m. Saturday, February 18th behind Town Hall. And then folks are going to walk into the Island Pond Conservation Lands, accessing the area through the bike trail, which borders the southern boundary of that conservation land. And so that's going to be a great walk. And then on top of that, we've got 4 different botanical walks led by Rich Eldred, botanist and environmental reporter. And those are all on our website too.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, in a short time that we have left, you've got an owl show coming up.
Yeah, it's fantastic. March 3rd, Saturday, here in the Community Center gym. 3 shows, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m. Look at that. There's Marsha Wilson right there with a screech owl and a saw-whet owl. Look at those ear tufts. And there she is with a great-horned or Eurasian eagle owl, hard to tell.
Is that the
great-horned?
Yeah.
She will be bringing Eurasian eagle owl, the largest owl species in the world, as well as a great-horned and the screech and saw-whet that you saw a moment ago. Snowy owl. Look at that yellow iris. Unbelievable. But we've seen this show sell out pretty much every year, and we expect a big turnout.
Absolutely. It's going to be a real hoot.
I can give you 2 on that
Two
one.
on that one, yeah.
But people need to reserve now. I mean,
Yes.
people can pay at the door, but they can also reserve at harwichconservationtrust.org or by check. Just give us a call and
Just remind people that, only a few short years ago, I was on the phone calling over 100 people back and saying, "I'm sorry, we're full. You can't come. We're going to return your ticket." And that was very saddening because so many people wanted to be there. So if you think about it and you can get your ticket, reserve early online, walk into our office. Look at that picture! Wow.
Well, before we get shut off, as you can tell, there's plenty to do on the Cape, and a lot of it has to do with Harwich Conservation Trust. So make your plans, walks, talks, the Owl Show. We look forward to seeing you here at the Community Center, where a lot of this takes place, or on the trails. So remember to go to their website or call 432-3997 and enjoy everything that's offered to you.